Concrete Genius Pod, man. It's your boy, Sauce Mackenzie. Follow me on all socials at Concrete Genius Pod, man. I'm honored for you to join me, man. This is real. I appreciate it. I do not take this for granted. I do not take anything for granted in my life. What God has given me, the air He's given me to breathe in my lungs, I appreciate it all. So with that being said, let's get started, right? NFL football Monday night. I called it. Packers, Eagles. Eagles win 10-7. Wasn't the prettiest game, but it wasn't just a putrid bowl. It's elite defenders on both sides. Great game. Some great plays were made. I love the Jalen Phillips pickup by the Eagles. He was tremendous. Just phenomenal effort on the defensive line. But forget all that. My point is to tell you that the jig is up on the Green Bay Packers. And somebody from Northwest Indiana that grew up a Bears fan, I am so glad that we can kind of put this Green Bay shit to sleep for about 5 to 6 years. For the first time in a long time, the Chicago Bears have a brighter future than the Green Bay Packers. And I'm ecstatic. That coach, in my opinion, has not lived up to expectations. I know he gets the genius label, but he had Aaron Rodgers and couldn't get it done. Mike Montgomery got it done. Now we're in year 6 with Jordan Love, and it ain't happened yet. Not only has it not happened, I see regression from the Green Bay Packers. And I don't see the type of optimism to think that the Packers are Super Bowl contenders. I put it to you like this, B. Pardon me. If somebody gave you a free $5,000, would you put any of that money on the Green Bay Packers winning the Super Bowl? Of course you're not. It's probably 12 teams, 14 teams with better chances than the Pack. Not 14, but at least 8. In the NFC, who's better than the Packers? The Rams are better than the Packers. The Eagles are better than the Packers. The Seahawks are better than the Packers. The Bucks are better than the Packers, right? So that's 4 teams. The Lions are better than the Packers. That's 5 teams better than the Green Bay Packers. So I don't want to hear nothing for a while about the Green Bay Packers. That window has closed. And don't get me wrong, the Philadelphia Eagles wasn't world beaters, but they were on the road Monday night, Green Bay getting points. However, you felt about that. They were the underdog, and they went in there, and they smacked Green Bay around. And Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur, when necessary, couldn't make the plays that were needed to win the game. And the reason I keep highlighting Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur is because when they win, that's who gets the credit. That's who get the label of being a genius. So they got to get the blame when they lose, B. I think the experiment is kind of running out. Don't be shocked if you see some changes in Green Bay. I got little sources all around the country. I got sources of all races, white, black, Hispanic, Chinese, Asian, Guatemalan, Samoan, Russian, and they always whisper a little shit. Hey, Sauce, be on the lookout for this now. You didn't hear from me. I got you. Look for some changes in Green Bay if the Packers don't turn it around. Where they 6-2 and 6-4-1, something like that. If they don't get this dumpster fire, they got the same record they had as last year, maybe even worse because they got a tie, I believe. If they don't get this dumpster fire on track, I can see Matt LaFleur being replaced next year. Easily. It's 2 coaches that I want to nominate for the Tony Dungy move. Now, those who not familiar, Tony Dungy is a great coach, great Christian man. Hey, man, Tony Dungy, we love you. Thank you for bringing the championship to the Indianapolis Colts. But before Tony Dungy was a championship coach of Indianapolis, for you youngins that don't know, Tony Dungy used to coach the Tampa Bay Bucks. Tony Dungy brought the Bucks back to life. The Tampa Bay Bucks were putrid before Tony Dungy got them. Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, that whole gang, Rondé Barber, Tony Dungy got them where they need to be. Sean King, QB, they almost beat the Rams one year in the NFC Championship, I believe. It was special. But after another playoff loss, the Tampa Bay Bucks made what at the time seemed like an extremely controversial decision because John Gruden a couple of years earlier had took the Raiders to the Super Bowl and got smacked. Nah, matter of fact, that was the same team that they beat. I'm sorry, I apologize. But anyway, to make a long story short, the Tampa Bay Bucks fired Tony Dungy and replaced him with John Gruden, and then John Gruden won the Super Bowl. So I can foresee the Green Bay Packers firing Matt LaFleur and looking for an experienced coach to take him over the top like Gruden took Dungy over the top, took the Bucks over the top. Because that's not to say Matt LaFleur can't leave Green Bay and go somewhere else and be a great coach. But it's also very important to notice when the time is where some things just got to change. It's just like a relationship. You ever been in a relationship with somebody and you like, this shit ain't working. This shit ain't working. But y'all stay in a relationship for the fuck of it. That's what I feel like the Green Bay Packers are doing with Matt LaFleur. That's my candidate for the Tony Dungy Replacement Award. And I also like to nominate Sean McDermott. I think the lights are cutting off on Sean McDermott. And I think to save that franchise, you got to pull a John Gruden, Tony Dungy. If the Buffalo Bills don't make a move soon to revive whatever they got going, I don't know if it's GM, coach, they are about to slip right back into the abyss. And the thing about the Buffalo Bills is nobody cares when they're in the abyss. So I'm very, very, I didn't really hear nothing about Sean McDermott yet. But my sources in Green Bay tell me specifically after last night, they called me at halftime. And they said, if this season bottoms out, 80% chance LaFleur is out of here. You know, Green Bay is one of them teams where the nigga at the hardware store got to vote on who they hire. Like, them niggas is owned by niggas who build picket fences. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a team in the middle of nowhere, nigga, and that's literally all they have. So without football, Green Bay and Buffalo have no identity. Nobody's going to Green Bay for the Final Four, NCAA Regional. Nobody's going to Buffalo to play golf. Nobody's going to Buffalo to watch a NCAA tournament game, unless they have to, they son playing. So the Buffalo Bills and the Green Bay Packers have to do something. Y'all on cold red right now, and it's getting urgent. FanDuel let me down last night. I'm not going to say FanDuel. I let myself down. I took a 3-leg parlay for $100. That's usually my modus of operation. I try to use a 3-leg parlay, try to win $550. I had Philadelphia money line, San Antonio Spurs money line, and the Portland Trail Blazers plus 2.5. Portland Trail Blazers lost by 3. So that's that. I'm over it. We up on new beginnings tonight. I'm going to figure out what the bet is tonight. Usually my goal as a bettor, and I don't really like giving out this game, but I'm in a great mood. It's the holidays coming up. When I'm betting properly, the most legs I do on a parlay is 3 legs. To me, 3 legs is pushing it. You can do 4, 7, 8, whatever. Even if you ain't got even if you only got $5, right? This is where a lot of gamblers screw up, B. If you only got $5 to bet on FanDuel, right? What do you think is a likely more outcome? For you to bet on one game with your $5 and turn that $5 into $950, or for you to turn your $5 into $37,000 betting on a 38-leg parlay? Like, logically. So the thing how casinos whoop you is because they play on your brain being irrational. They know that most gamblers are going to say, you know what? I can take the Lakers -5 and put 100 and win 95. But then I can add 4 more teams and put 100 and win 1,000. Greed has been ruining men since the beginning of time. And you never going to beat the casino out of all their money, no matter how much you win. And you definitely ain't going to beat them out of it in chunks until you learn the ropes of betting. So until you learn the ropes, kill the parlays, man. There's too many of y'all betting parlays. Parlays are fun because they give you that, man, I almost could have had $7,000. Man, I was right there. If Derrick Henry would have scored a touchdown and Aaron Rodgers had to throw for 9 more yards, I was right there. I was going to turn $17 into $92,000. No, you sound like an idiot. You just starting conversation fodder for yourself. You ain't really trying to get no money, because if you was really trying to get some money and all you had to your name was $10, then you would take that $10 and you would say, okay, you know what? What do I like? I like Chicago Bears money line. Take the $10, place the bet. Win one bet, 17, win, get back $17. Now you got $17. That's 7 more than what you had. Now, the next game come on, you take your same $17 and you say, you know what? I like Seattle. And if you want to get risky, you think you got balls, you say, okay, you know, I like Seattle and Arizona. I'm going to take my $17, I'm going to make $60. That's how the game goes, man. It's all about the slow flip to the big brick. You don't just get on FanDuel or DraftKings or Caesars and just start saying, you know what, I'm going to take $1.72 and win $9,000. Life don't work like that. If it did, everybody would do it, bro. My advice to my bettors, one game at a time. Let's slow walk this thing, man. Get this money, man. Don't be rushing trying to make them 37-leg parlays. You know, I'm taking my kids to the casino quite a bit, right? And one time I was at the casino with my kids and talked to a couple of guys running casinos, a couple of friends. I think my wife was with me. And one of the most important things I've ever heard from a casino executive was that parlays build casinos. Man, that broke my heart. I felt like a damn sucker, man, when that man said it. That man looked me in my eye. I had just put in like a 6-pick for $200. I'm trying to win $19,000. I just put in like a $275 6-pick. Over, under, a couple of upsets. And that man said, parlays build casino. And out of them 6-pick, I had 3+ upsets. And them 3 and another pick hit, and 2 of them didn't. So if I could have just picked the 3+ upsets, or even bet them individually for $40, and then maybe put another $50 on a combo, I would have been better off gambling than trying to wreck the casino on one bet. Now, don't get me wrong. You got to let your nuts hang in life. So sometimes if you feel like, hey, man, I like the Cowboys tonight, I'm strong on it. And I like the Cardinals tomorrow, I'm strong on it. Take them 2 bets and drop $500-600 on them and see how you feel. But all I'm saying is, when it comes to winning money, slow money is better than no money. So even if you just starting gambling, right, and you want to start gambling with $1 or $5, that's why they put all them bonuses at the top of the betting apps, because they want you to take parlays. That's why they do that. They entice you to take parlays because they know parlays severely decrease your chance of winning money. So if you log on to FanDuel or DraftKings or any other app you may use, if you look at the top, you're going to see Johnny Carson's 4-pack of picks. Shit, George Clinton's parlay booster. Fucking Rick Ross parlay booster. Gillian Wallow 4-pick parlay booster. Because they want you to take parlays. Single bets are the keys to winning, and they're the easiest bets to win. Because you're only hoping for one outcome. See, when you take a parlay, first of all, it's hard enough to bet on a game anyway. But if you take a parlay, you need so many things to happen for you to hit 4 games. And I'm going to give you a challenge. Look on your betting app, pick 4 games, and see if you can hit them. Even if you pick and you say, you know what, I'm going to do it the prop way. I like props. I'm going to pick 4 players I know that average 25 points, and I'm going to put them on the NBA plus 20, and we're going to hit, and I'm going to move on. I guarantee you one of them niggas going to have 11. It's just the way the game goes, man. Find you one player that you think is hot, and then you bet on them. Now, I got tips and strategies on how to figure out how patterns that I use, because I've been betting. I've probably been betting, how old am I? Legally betting since, I've been betting for a long time. I got 20+ years into gambling legally, and probably 30+ years into gambling, nigga shit. So I've been watching the NFL for a long time. I've been watching lines and bets and outcomes. I've been watching the NBA for a long time. Bets and outcomes. I study how lines are made and percentages, and I know what it means, and I know calculations and formulas, and I'm good at math. But the number one rule of math is parlays make casinos and sportsbook rich. Just take you one bet, baby. Find us a bet, and let's ride with it, man. Concrete Genius Pod, man. Follow me on all socials. It's your boy, Big Sauce, man. And know the difference between who love you and need you. Because it's okay to need me if you love me. But some people need you and act like they love you. And them the people you got to stay away from, because they're going to try to drain you. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I'm waiting on LeBron to come back, man. I'm trying to see how that go. I'm interested to see how it go, man. I'm a big LeBron fan. Y'all know that, man. I've been a fan of LeBron James since he was in high school. I appreciate him. I appreciate him, fighting through all that adversity he been through as a kid, everything he ever went through. I just like LeBron. So I'm a dude that's pretty much always going to root for Bron. You know what I mean? I like his game. I like what odds he beat growing up fatherless. I like his dedication to the game. I like the way he had to handle the media after they tried to crucify him. I like how he put his boys on. But you want to know what really makes the GOAT, Bron, the GOAT for me? Because he built his empire and built another beautiful black family. He built the family that he dreamed of as a kid. And he said this publicly, so I'm not just speaking out my ass. But that's what makes LeBron the GOAT for me. See, you can't be the GOAT with a white wife. Because when we talk GOAT, now if you're just talking on the court, cool. But see, the problem with Jordan fans and Kobe fans is they'll bring up things about Bron off the court, and then when you bring up things about whoever they rooting for, and I'm not finna get into that, then they're, keep it to basketball. Well, you keep it to basketball. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of jealousy to me, especially from the non-black Bron fans, and a lot of the Uncle Tom Bron fans, is his boldness, his black boldness. See, when you big and black and you overcome some shit, black people fetishize about you having a humility moment, especially when you a tough nigga. See, like, if you a tough nigga and you just gonna be in the streets as a tough nigga, then they don't care if you having a humility moment because they feel like the streets are gonna get you. The police, you gonna die, you just gonna be another nigga. But when you start moving in the field of endeavors and you start becoming successful in be it business or athletics or whatever it may be, and you start mingling with normal black people who think their lives are supposed to be better than yours, they need to see you go through some type of humility. See, a lot of black people need humility to feel secure about your loyalty. That's why when you join groups, they demand that you get humiliated to get initiated. And LeBron is one of the few athletes I've seen who didn't confirm, even when they drug him. Him and Savannah, 20 plus years. Who wouldn't want your kid looking up to an athlete that's been married? The best basketball player in the game has been married to a black woman his whole life and got 3 black beautiful children. See, we got to stop sweeping that under the rug. Black people get so uncomfortable when we talk about pooling our resources for us. When we talk about expectations from our athletes, when these guys, we buy their shoes and we buy their jerseys and we support them and we argue about them. Seeing them be in a stable, wholesome, healthy relationship and produce 3 children by the same woman is things that just should be just as celebratory as his on-court achievements. Because when I was growing up, they was having pictures of little kids on Sports Illustrated talking about, where's my daddy? And this was the good players. When I was growing up, Karl Malone was having sex with 13-year-olds. And this was the good players, right? When I was growing up, Charles Barkley was getting head in Phoenix on the highway. And these were the good players. Michael Jordan was standing out gambling till 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, getting drunk. These were the good players. Kobe Bryant, God bless his soul, he had his situation in Colorado. These were the good players. So when I talk about a desire to see you humiliated, that applies not only to NBA guys, but it applies to just normal life, right? I explain it this way, right? Walk in a room confident, right? And don't nobody know you. People gonna be drawn to you, but some of the people drawn to you are gonna be drawn to you due to their insecurities, and they gonna need to see you humble to feel better about themselves. I would say LeBron James, Muhammad Ali. I don't know if I got a third right now. Because when I say favorite athlete, then I'm encompassing everything in their life, like what they've done for the community, what they've done. I know it's a few. I like Jalen Rose a lot. Jalen Rose was ahead of the curve with the Jalen Rose Leadership and Academy. Shout out to Detroit. I would probably say Jalen Rose because even though skill-wise, he ain't on the level of Bron, Kobe, but I'm saying encompassing everything within this athlete. Now, I don't know his personal life, but what Jalen Rose did for the community of Detroit with that school and how successful it's been, it's amazing. But like, as far as when you combine talent and what they've done off the court for the community and the fact that they loved black women, I will go Bron and Ali, and then it's a gap between everybody else. And then probably somebody come to me later, I could think about, what I mean? But right now, for my personal preference, and it's my podcast, it's always been Bron and Ali. Media.com, man. It's your boy Big Sauce. Follow me on all socials. I love y'all, man. I love y'all for real. And last but not least, and this may be a little local for some of y'all that's not from Indiana, I'm from Gary, Indiana, right? Gary, Indiana is a small town somewhat. Used to be kind of big, 180,000 back when I was growing up. One of the first major cities with a black mayor. Shout out Richard Hatcher. Sits in the northwest corner of Indiana, up by Lake Michigan. It is a very, very black city with rich cultural history. It's the city that Michael Jackson from, right? But not just Michael Jackson. Several stars come from Gary, Indiana, right? And me growing up in Gary was so black and culturally proud that I wouldn't want to be born nowhere else. Now, would I have maybe less trauma that I had endured, but that wasn't Gary's fault. My trauma wasn't Gary's fault specifically. Yeah. And would I had maybe more little financial resources? Yeah, but those lack of resources made me hustle. That's how I grew. By the time I was 7 years old, I would go rake leaves and make a couple of $100. I'd go shovel snow and make a couple of $100. I was 5 or 6 years old. I would carry somebody groceries from the store, make $3, $4. So my situations made me a hustler. Gary, we had so many black teachers and principals and counselors and staff that always told us we can do it. Even when I went to prison, I had teachers writing me, you can do it. Don't give up. You can do it. I remember how smart you are. You can do it. Do you know what that does for a young man? But we don't bother nobody. The food's delicious. The violence is a little outrageous. We kind of snap sometimes. They'll pop some, but that's America now. So. And shout out Eddie Melton. You're doing a fine job, young man, man. I'm proud of you, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna even play with it. Like, I'm proud of you, bro, what you're doing for the city. You're articulate, you well-spoken. You are a great representative for Gary, Indiana, man. I haven't been this proud to be associated with Gary headlines in a long time. And I'm honored. That's Eddie Milton. You're doing an amazing job, young man. You keep your head up, man. You keep it going. You know, I was a little skeptical because, you know, I had some discussions with a couple of dudes I know, you know, they may just been in your frat throwing your name around, but them niggas was super corny. But then I called people from Gary and they were like, oh, no, he's a nigga. Not only are you a Gary black man, but you also articulate, you handle things well, you speak on things well. So, nah, man, shout out GI219. But the premise of my conversation is that a lot of cities and towns around Indiana have a hatred for Gary people. And I don't understand it. And it hit me because I think it's jealousy. It's like sharecroppers, right? Gary was the only city in the state where black people had some peace and solitude, and they didn't have to share their spaces with nobody else of any other race. How many cities has it been like that in America where you can live in a nice home, drive a nice car, have access, even though Gary ain't a major city, from my side of town on the west side, I could be in Chicago in 15 minutes. How many people have access of having black loving teachers, great food, and the entire city is black? Like to the point where if I saw a white person in Gary, I'd be like, hey, man, what you doing? You lost? That's how black it was when I was growing up. Like, and this is my side of town, west side. Like, I don't know about niggas who grew up with the Mexicans and the old white folks that hadn't left yet because of white flight. My side, low end, 11th Avenue, 70s and 80s. You see a white, you're like, who the fuck is that nigga selling insurance? That's the police, the county police. Because I don't even know, I've never had an action with a white Gary police officer. That's how black Gary was. Like I had two teachers that wasn't black. I had a lady named Miss Libby. I think she was from Portugal, but she's still white technically, but she wasn't from America. And I had this old white dude that had been there since like the 50s, teaching woodshop. Other than that, everybody was, black as fucking Chris Tucker, nigga. We was rolling. That's my city. And I think when you have that, you got a glow about you that make other people maybe feel not as authentic in their blackness. And I think that's where a lot of the Gary hate comes from, the people that deliver the hate. You know what I mean? Because we don't bother nobody. All we do is get money and mind our business. And I don't want to hear nothing about no violence because most Gary people that's violent was violent and got their shit out their system before they left Gary. If we move anywhere else in the state, we about trying to get that money on, and we trying to get a home and take care of our kids and give our kids a better future than we have for ourselves. But when you see us, we make it look good, man, and I understand that frustration. You from fucking Kokomo or Marion or Anderson or somewhere, or your parents or something had to get bused from fucking one side of town to the other 2 hours because they wanted to integrate Decatur Central or something, so I understand that hate. The white man taught you to hate Gary while hating you. That's why you niggas, some of you niggas, not all of you, because, listen, I didn't went to war and put my life on the line for nap niggas that I won't let nobody talk about, so I never blanket coverage, no state, no city. I'm a former street nigga and then a former jail nigga, so I respect each person as an individual. But a lot of people in small towns think because they had some proximity to white people that they better than people from Gary. Nigga, man, what? Like, bro, we've been doing this for a long time. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't never had no white man make me sit on his lap, nigga. My mama had one white friend. That nigga was the man she used to get her supplies from to sew. And we go in Chicago and meet him. And he was Jewish. So I ain't never had my space where I had to share it until I got older. And so that's why my mentality of covert blackness was foreign to a lot of niggas. Because you don't understand tribalism and hating somebody black that's not in the gang for no reason unless you was raised by people who don't want you to be the best version of yourself. So I see a lot of confusion around the state of Indiana. I see a lot of self-hate. I see a lot of jealousy when it comes to Gary. I understand. A lot of you niggas ain't never seen a beach. Gary got a beach. You know what I mean? A lot of niggas ain't never seen food that's only catered to black people. That's Gary. Basically, that's Lake County now. Blacks and Hispanics. And you can still get on the train, boom, and be in Chicago in 30 minutes. and hop off you at the Taste of Chicago, you downtown, you on Michigan Avenue, you kicking it. So if I grew up in butt-fuck Indiana, I would crack Gary jokes too. I understand it, actually. Like, I understand the pain. Like, I understand. I've had people from towns in Indianapolis, not Indianapolis, but all over Indiana, tell me like, man, I wish I'd have been from Gary. Nigga, I hated being the only black person, 2, 3 black people in the class. Mother called me Blackie and Darky. And man, my mind couldn't function if I had to go through that type of trauma. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the reason my self-esteem is to the sky, because of Gary. So let's chill with the Gary jokes, man. You know what I mean? A lot of you niggas cracking these jokes ain't got car insurance, man. You niggas ain't got a home. You niggas ain't got $1,000. You niggas don't travel. If you don't stay in Indy, you gotta drive an hour and a half, 2 hours to the airport. You know what I'm saying? You niggas had to live on one side of the tracks where your mama had to get up and clean houses, and Anderson on the other side of the tracks, or not just Anderson. I ain't picking on Anderson. It could be any city. But like, just let us breathe, nigga. I done dealt with so much fake Gary hate. Well, it ain't fake because it was real. But I've dealt with nothing but Gary hate from the niggas that was haters since I've been here. And it didn't really pick up till I got into sports. Because in the streets, a nigga just want to know, nigga, is it good? Can I sell it? And can we make money? And I think that's why I didn't really, like, my interaction with niggas in the streets, and now I was like, oh, these niggas is players. We finna get some money. Like, I've never had a beef with a street nigga from Indianapolis. I constantly repeat that, and I will constantly repeat that again. And that's why I've been able to move wherever I go, and I'm good with the trenches. But you start getting into sports, and you start dealing with the squares and the nerds and the black insecurities and the people who had to be fucking tortured or get a finger in their booty to be able to, like, have friends. Or you get the niggas who just always felt black and stupid, and the white people labeled them with an AID since 6th grade, IAD or whatever. So they got self-hate too. But we all black, man. You know what I mean? You go to court and I go to court, they not gonna say, you know what? He from Gary and he from Fort Wayne. The Gary nigga is more of a nigga. We all niggas be. But I just don't understand the jealousy and the source of it. So I like for somebody who could maybe chime in that's from Indiana but not from Gary and explain to me, why do y'all think the Gary jokes are necessary? Because I be seeing Gary jokes from niggas who live with their mama and drive a motherfucker beat up ass Hyundai at 40. Like, that's ludicrous. Or jokes from a motherfucker who live in an apartment with the dumpster just overran with trash and the news out there talking about, well, the mold here at the Loving Hands apartment is pretty bad and we can't contact the management because they're in Florida. But you cracking Gary jokes? Bitch, your child is in hell and cottage cheese. Like, what's funny? Like, even if we was going through hell, we ain't going through hell now. So, like, let's all just learn to love each other and understand everybody's individual paths to blackness is different. You know what I mean? So we got to start building a bridge between blacks who grew up in predominantly black spaces and share space blacks. You know what I mean? Because what happens is when you grew up in predominantly black places like I did, like Gary, then when you get around shared space blacks, you really only get cool with the most rebellious or the street niggas, because them the niggas that let their nuts hang. See, when you grow up with all black teachers, they teach you to let your nuts hang at a young age, nigga. I was so smart, I was skipping school. My teachers would be like, look, you're such a great orator and a storyteller. If you just come to class, for the last 15 minutes of class, I'll let you get up there and improv and say whatever you want. And that teacher changed my life because I learned so much English and literature over the course of the years. But we had things like that. Man, you think a white teacher, I got bused from motherfucking from one side of town to the other. You think that white teacher gonna let up there and let me crack jokes at the end of class for 15 minutes? No. So that's why my eyes on the prize is always different. So even when a nigga think they fucking me, man, you fucking something I done already left, nigga. My spirit transcends your hate, nigga. That's why when you check on me to see if your hate working, I'm in Las Vegas or San Diego or Florida somewhere. And I got my kids. I'm like 9 people. Or I'm just me and my wife. So my spirit transcends the hate. But it always made me wonder about it. You know what I mean? Because when you, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest. I done ran into some Chicago niggas as Gary are jealous too. You know what I mean? But not to the degree. We kind of relate a little more. Just like a little bit of the street. The educated Chicago niggas a little more balanced. You know what I mean? It just depends on where you grew up at. You know what I mean? But as far as like the rest of Indiana, y'all gotta chill, man. Like, niggas is fighting over plantations and jokes and reputations, man, and we ain't owning shit, bro. We ain't building shit. And then if you look, every time something gets shut down, the Mexicans is buying it, bro. Mexicans, and I'm gonna tell y'all something else. Mexicans will pool their resources with 150 Mexicans. Trust one person with good credit and open up a tire shop. I'm serious. 100 Mexicans will put up $1,000 or whatever they can for this tire shop, and it will belong to the community. Niggas ain't doing that, man. You can't even get a rental property with a nigga. You can't even get a nigga to tell you how to get a rental property. We ain't doing that. That's why we always falling behind. I've seen it in my apartment. I got a guy right now that owns one of the biggest landscaping companies in the Midwest. He probably grossing $5 to $7 million a year. When I first lived in an apartment, he got the apartment like around the corner. You know how you come in, it's 2 here, 2 there, and you go downstairs. He got the apartment around the corner. We chop it up, right? Because one day his wife was carrying some shit in, all the bags dropped or whatever. I helped her and told her, hey, if she needs some help. So he met me. He was like, that was my wife. He was nice. So we became cool, right? He said, look, man, I'm finna have my brother and his wife, and then her brother-in-law and his wife move in with me. I hope you ain't gone. You know what I mean? I said, nigga, I ain't telling, nigga. I'm selling weed. Nigga, fuck, I'm gonna tell for. But I was like, why you want so many people in a 2-bedroom, man? He said, man, we gotta save for like 2 years. I'm trying to start this business. 3-4 months later, man, I seen this nigga with one lawnmower and a weed eater going door to door getting money. He will move out, somebody else will move in an apartment. Door to door getting money. Now, this man probably has over 250 pieces of equipment. Black people cannot pool their money together because of the dysfunction. We was taught to hate each other, be jealous of each other, or feel like we got to keep information from each other. And that's the problem. Too many of us see somebody that look like us and don't like them because we don't like ourselves. So when I hear a nigga saying, man, you from Gary, you niggas, you don't like yourself. Now, if the joke is innocent, it's just a joke. I could take jokes. But every joke got a little truth, nigga. All right? And every little truth is a little funny, right? So all I'm saying is let's stop the self-hate, because what happens is we can't present tribalism as adults and say, man, I don't like a nigga from Detroit, or I don't like a nigga from Milwaukee, or I don't like a nigga from Atlanta. And then the people that live in Milwaukee and Atlanta and Indianapolis and Detroit, we wonder why we telling our son, well, what you shooting at him for? He stay right across the street. Y'all look just alike. Well, nigga, you shot at me. I was running a community organization and you niggas hated me because I don't fuck moms and touch on kids. All we do is shoot at each other, and then we shocked that these kids have no conflict resolution. They don't love themselves. They don't love being black, and they don't know how to behave, and they can't sit still enough to learn how to read. That's a lot of you niggas' fault, because all they hear is self-hate. You niggas is 37, they hear you rapping Yo Gotti. And no beef with Yo Young Gotti, he one of my favorite artists. But what I'm saying is if you niggas never grew up, how you expect your kids to grow up? And as black people, we just got to do better, man. This shit is as real as it gets, man. Get a copy of my book, The Game Changer, 8 Tips for Men to Find Peace. I got to get out of here, man. I love y'all. Peace.